It's been a hot minute since we've done a DIY on my channel, so here we go. If you saw Beetlejuice, you may have fallen in love with Bob, who is the shrunken head character. My son wants to be him for Halloween, and they don't have any kids' costumes. They have one adult costume sold out everywhere, and it's adult sizes. So we're gonna make our own. I've done this method before, and it turned out great. It's a size small that I got from Michael's. It was on sale for like $6 and change. And then all you're gonna need is a reference of what Bob looks like, some painter's tape, and some acrylic paint. So first I started by taping off the areas that I want to keep away from the yellow paint. So I have the V that's going down, which is going to be his collared shirt and tie. I blocked out an area for "Hi, my name is Bob" tag. And then I put some stickers for where the buttons go, but if you don't have stickers that are perfect circles, you can also trace like a nickel or a quarter. I've done that in the past and it works perfectly. I will put all the exact shades of paint and what sizes it took. I think this was a 5-ounce bottle that I used, and I used the entire yellow bottle because the whole shirt's yellow. So depending on what size shirt you get, you might need to get an extra bottle, but it's very simple. You paint it on very thick. I started out using a sponge brush, but then I switched to an actual brush, and I just kind of like that method better. You want to make it pretty thick, and I would suggest putting cardboard underneath. Not only does it make it a little bit easier to paint, but the paint also bleeds through, which is important if you're doing the back side of the shirt because you don't want it to bleed onto the part you want to keep white. So many years ago, I did this method to make my son an Ash Ketchum shirt because he loved Pokemon, and it turned out so good. So when he told me he wanted to be Bob, and I didn't want to spend all that money, and I knew I probably couldn't get my hands on it, I was like, let's go the t-shirt method, because I think I made this entire thing for about $10, maybe $12, because I did have the red and black acrylic paint at home. It will, of course, make the shirt kind of stiff, but that's how it's supposed to be anyways. He's wearing a suit jacket, so just keep that in mind. Make sure the shirt's oversized and fits you well before you start investing in painting it. This does take quite a while, but I enjoy painting, so it didn't bother me. I'm sure there's easier methods, like maybe I could have bought a long sleeve yellow shirt and just painted on the tie and the name tag, but didn't think about that until I was more than halfway done. So here's the whole front side. Let that dry for a while. You can see it's a little stiff, so it bleeds through a little. Then I flipped it over, did the back, and then once everything was completely yellow, I worked on the tie. So I removed where I'm going to do the buttons because those are going to be black. And then I removed the outer parts of the V shape, and we're going to work on where the tie goes in the center of that. I knew this would be the most difficult part, to make it look like a tie, because I'm not that good at that. And I'm sure I could have added more details like shading and the collar and, fancy things, but I'm not like that talented, so I kept it really basic. But I blocked out some stripes and colored those in black. And then when those dry, I put the tape over the black ones, made the rest of it yellow. So pretty easy method. Sometimes the paint goes under the tape just slightly. That's okay. You can just add a thicker layer of yellow or whatever color is supposed to go over it. Did a slight amount of freehanding, but for the most part, I really like using the tape because you could be a little sloppy and quick with it instead of being so precise. But when I went to go do the buttons, I left this part in. I did get paint on the yellow part, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I wiped off what I could, but it's still there. I put about 2 or 3 coats of yellow in that area, and it covered it right up. They do actually make circular sponges, and I have one that's the exact size of this that I used in that Ash Ketchum shirt, but I was too lazy, didn't feel like getting it. So I'm just taking my time and freehanding those circles. Wasn't too bad. And then I blocked out a part where it's going to say Bob. The rest of the background is going to be red. So I did paint that in and then let everything dry. I think my camera's a little bit out of focus on here, but you can tell what I'm doing. So once the black and the red was all done, then I went ahead and removed all that tape. And then I just kept those pieces I was taking off and just switched them over to put them on top of the black pieces that were dry. I tried to do like a crisscross thing to look like it was knotted at the top, and I ended up hating how that looked, so I did paint over that at the end. Again, we don't do fancy things here, so I thought it looked okay when I painted over it, so we just left it like that. It was hard to find an exact close-up picture of Bob in the movie, so the reference I was going off of was the adult costume that they're selling. So for the hello, my name is part, it's supposed to be white, but who cares, right? I used a Sharpie and wrote that part in, but when I went to go write Bob with the Sharpie, it wasn't showing up as well, but for whatever reason, it wrote a lot better on the paint. So I just traced Bob and I went back with a very thin, small brush and put Bob in the black paint so it stuck out. And now everything is dry, so I'm removing all the tape. And I did fix that top piece. It looks okay. I'm not good at drawing, but you know what it's supposed to be. If you know, you know. I think it turned out really good. Like I said, it's stiff, but it's supposed to be. I have washed these in the past, and it was fine. I don't plan on washing this one, but if you want to risk it, you could try to loosen it up a little bit so it's not so stiff. But, I mean, in reality, you're wearing this like once, maybe twice, so probably not that important. But if you have any questions, any comments, leave them below and I'll try to answer all your questions. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.